Uh, Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy President. Tonight, our nation is caught within a moment of decision. Before us now is a question. Will justice be done for disabled people, or will we once again miss the opportunity to ensure that those in our nation who are so often made voiceless remain so? Tonight, I'd like to read from a passage of a speech given by my fellow disability activist and advocate Craig Wallace, who in 2015, as part of the White Flower Memorial, to commemorate all those who have died in institutional and residential care, spoke to the sorrow and pain of our community. In concluding, he said, "I call for those who have left us to be remembered, for their names and stories to be said out loud, in the sunlight and amongst the people who love them. Well, tonight I seek to speak their names, and though the sun does not shine in this place, I hope that their stories will move the hearts of those who have it within their power to see justice done. The following names are those who have died in the lead-up or subsequent to the Royal Commission inquiry, the Senate inquiry which called for a Royal Commission. Shelby Ward, aged 7. Found locked in a room without sunlight, surrounded by faeces. Shelley died from starvation and thirst and weighed only 9 kilograms, a third of her expected body weight. She had severe autism and was considered to be profoundly disabled. Levy Bonner, 7 years old, found beaten, tortured and finally killed by the people meant to care for him. Hayley D. Bell, 8. When she was found in 2013, she was starved, suffering from pneumonia, and her hair was infested with lice and matted with dirt. Isabel Leeper, 9. Died from a combination of internal injuries, which paediatricians said were caused by blunt force to the stomach, such as a fist. Julian, 11, who was left to freeze to death in a shed, and that he had first been hosed with water after having faeces rubbed in his face. Liam Milne and his younger brother. Craig Sullivan, 17, who was arrested for a minor driving offence and later bashed by another inmate at the Ashley Youth Detention Centre, died in isolation from a massive brain hemorrhage. Brandon LaServe suffered severe learning difficulties and was killed by a family member. Jack Sullivan, 18, died in state-funded ACT care from drowning. Laura Madigan, 20, returned to her parents' care at 19, despite stating that they could not look after her. 9 months before her death, authorities were warned that she would die if the situation was not addressed. 2 weeks before her death, both of her legs were amputated to attempt to stem infection. She died covered in her own faeces, and urine in a room infested with cockroaches. Sarah Hammond, 22, a disabled young woman who was unable to speak and reportedly half dragged and half carried herself from a taxi after a shocking incident allegedly witnessed by community workers, later died in hospital in 2016 of septicemia. Christopher O'Brien, 22. Neil Somerwell. Rebecca Lazarus, found with multiple stab wounds in her chest and abdomen in a group care home. Jamie Vincent Jonathan, age undisclosed. His care plan stated that he should not be left alone with water because he would drink it without stopping. He died after being left alone in the shower. Carly Schultz died in a group home. She had a seizure at 2:23 a.m. that was documented by staff and was found dead 7 hours later. Shona Huki died as a result, 29, died as a result of medical neglect in an institutionalised setting. Stephen Ind, 29, a quadriplegic man who made complaints of sexual assault and misconduct by his carers. He was left face down and suffocated to death. Stuart Lambert, Marley Cutmore, who died in the same hospital and under similar circumstances as Shona Huki. Brett Ponting, 33, died after being left unsupervised in a bathtub for an extended period of time. His carers were blamed for negligence. Darren Kingma died in his respite facility as a result of an unexplained incident in which he broke his neck. He was left on the floor for over an hour after his support workers gave up trying to pull him up, saying that he was being non-compliant. David Veitch, Miriam Merton, a mother of 2 who was left naked and covered in faeces at a Lismore psychiatric hospital. Amanda Gilbert, 47, who had a required brain injury as a result of attempted suicide and was placed in the Greylands Psychiatric Care Centre in my home state of WA. She was raped and assaulted 111 times and died as a result of complications used in the medication to sedate her. The WA coroner believes this to have been an underestimation of the number of times that she was raped. Elizabeth Floyd died when a precious shawl she had received at her care home became septic. The inquest heard about serious issues in the facility that she lived. Julia Jacobson, a 51-year-old amputee who died a preventable, avoidable death after a private disability support provider withdrew essential supports. Sandra Deacon, 55. Janice and Robin Fakura, 68 and 50. A family friend of the 3 people died in a shooting near Harvey Bay and says it was a mercy killing. Cheryl Thompson, Janet Makuzi, Julie Julie Betty Cunn, 81-year-old from Armadale, was charged over his elderly partner's apparent mercy killing. Described it as a beautiful act of mercy for his wife. These are the names that don't get spoken. These are the reasons. These are the human beings. These are the loved ones, the mothers, the fathers, the sons, the partners, who need justice, who demand justice, whose lives were worth living, in whose memory I tonight wear a white flower, and whose passing fills me with an ironclad determination. I will not stop, I will not rest, until they find the justice that is so desperately owed them. I thank the chamber